Hello, this is Dane Explains, and I'm Dane. First off, this was supposed to be my video on St. Valentine, but I've pushed that to next week because of the rather controversial statement from Pope Francis. He made a statement that seems to affirm the Protestant heresy of Sola Fide, which means faith alone, also known as once saved, always saved. If the Pope really believes such a thing, which has already been condemned by the Church for over 500 years as a heresy, does the Church teaching change? Does nothing happen and we just have a heretic Pope? Or does he cease to be Pope? Basically, can the Pope be a heretic? Hint. The answer is no. Let me explain why. So, a Pope can't be a heretic. But why? Let's first go over why I'm talking about this. I'm not a news channel, but this may come as news to a lot of you that Pope Francis read a written statement during a public audience that, at least as he stated it, is the heresy of Sola Fide. There weren't many people in the audience, but at least one layperson noticed the heresy in the statement and stood up and started to openly call out Pope Francis for the apparent heresy. Here's a clip of the offending statement and the response of the heckler.
Pensiamo, cari fratelli e sorelle, in Cristo nessuno può mai veramente separarci da coloro che amiamo, perché il legame è un legame esistenziale, un legame forte che è nella nostra stessa natura. Cambia solo il modo di essere insieme a ognuno di noi, ma niente e nessuno può rompere questo legame. Padre, pensiamo a coloro che hanno rinnegato la fede, che sono degli apostati, che sono i persecutori della Chiesa, che hanno rinnegato il loro battesimo. Anche questi sono a casa? Sì, anche questi. Tutti, i bestemmatori, tutti. Siamo fratelli. Questa è la comunione dei santi. La comunione dei santi tiene insieme la comunità dei credenti sulla terra e nel cielo. E sulla terra i santi, i peccatori, tutti. Il cui potere sarebbe possibile le cose impossibili. Viene in aiuto in questi momenti di angoscia e difficoltà. Prendi sotto la tua protezione le situazioni tanto difficili che ti arrivano affinché abbiano una felice soluzione. Mio amato Padre, tutta la mia fiducia è risposta in te. Tutta la mia fiducia è risposta in te. E non si dica che ti abbia invocato in vano. Perché poiché tutto il tutto preso Gesù e Maria.
La Chiesa non è come vuole Dio, Dio ti ricetta, Padre. Tu non sei il re. Profeta Samuel.
Abbiamo sentito alcuni minuti fa una persona che gridava, sgridava, che aveva qualche problema, non so se fisico, psichico, spirituale, ma un fratello nostro in problema. Io vorrei finire pregando per lui, il nostro fratello che soffre, poveretto, se sgridava è perché soffre, ha qualche bisogno, non essere sordi al bisogno di questo fratello.
As you can see from the clip, it seems Pope Francis appears to take an extreme stance even for people who believe in Sola Fide. Basically, even if you renounce your faith, you're not lost. So if the Pope believes this, does that mean that Catholic teaching has changed? Well, here's the thing. In spite of what many people think, the Pope can't change the Church's teaching. Now, you might ask, but yeah, don't you Catholics say the Pope is infallible? Well, yes, but not on a personal level. A Pope can believe all kinds of heresy and do all kinds of horrible things. I mean, one Pope got murdered by his lover's husband. But he was still the Pope, at least up to that point anyway. A Pope can only be infallible when defining doctrine. Notice, I didn't say redefining doctrine. So when a question comes up about a matter of faith and it hasn't been spoken on yet, that's what I'm talking about. For instance, when the matter of the pill came up in the 1960s, the matter of a contraceptive that changed someone's hormones and didn't work by some kind of physical mechanism hadn't yet been addressed directly by the magisterium. The magisterium refers to the teaching authority of the Catholic Church. Most theologians at the time thought that the liberal Pope Paul VI would accept the pill as illicit, but to the surprise of most, he did not. Once he defined the doctrine and promulgated it, then it became a teaching of the Church. What happens to popes who attempt to promulgate heresy is, well, let's just say it doesn't end well. There has yet to be a case where God has let this happen. Okay, so what happens if the Pope isn't promulgating heresy, but is just an open believer in it? And the word open is important here. Knowingly believing in a heresy is a mortal sin. But by open heresy, I mean someone who teaches or practices the heresy, not someone who keeps it as a secret and practices the Catholic faith as they should. This was actually debated by theologians shortly after the Protestant Reformation, notably St. Bellarmine, Suarez, and St. John of Thomas. I'm not going to go deep into the theology, but here's a simple explanation. If a pope becomes a heretic by one of the methods I already mentioned, they are subject to a latae scientiae excommunication. And excuse my Latin, I probably murdered that, but that doesn't mean that the pope or a bishop has the grounds to excommunicate a person. That means the person is automatically excommunicated by the action itself. The things that incur such an excommunication are defined in canon law, basically the law book of the Catholic Church. Being a heretic is one of those things listed. So it's not that the Church's teaching changes that prevents the Pope from being a heretic. It's because he ceases being the Pope. The Pope would essentially excommunicate himself. It gives a whole new perspective to the phrase, "Is the Pope Catholic?" St. Bellarmine's conclusion was later affirmed as dogma by the First Vatican Council. So how do we know if the Pope is a heretic? Well, he teaches or openly admits to his heresy. In this case, it seems the Pope is trying to teach heresy. Although, something like that, if it is what it seems, removes the man as Pope. It won't stop probably the majority of people from following him as if he was the Pope. If this happened and the good bishops and cardinals recognized it, which by the power of the Holy Spirit I hope they would, they'd ask the Pope to correct his error, and if he refused, they'd call a papal conclave to elect a new Pope. No doubt the rotten cardinals, who don't care, would stick with the former Pope and not attend the schismatic conclave, so it would basically create an anti-Pope, who used to be the Pope, and an anti-church of the people who follow it, although it might not be their own fault, something that I touched on in a recent video, link in the description. A couple of final notes here. It could be that the Pope didn't write this document and didn't fully review it before reading it publicly, and doesn't actually believe what he said. Or, as it seems to be implied if you watch a little more of the video, it's just poorly written and didn't properly convey the detail the Pope was trying to get across. And it only appears like he's teaching heresy. In either case, he should quickly correct the error. Let's all pray that it's one of those two things. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, and I hope you didn't, but please press the like button anyway. Subscribe to my channel and ding the bell to get notified when I post new videos. Also, please support me on Patreon, link in the description. The more people support me, the more time I can dedicate to making videos like this one. So, until next time, have a great week.